I'm Jeff Fritz with SoundStage.com, and I'm joined today by Jeff Poggi. He is the co-CEO of McIntosh Group. Jeff, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Jeff. It's great to be with you today.
Well, thanks. Well, the reason for the interview, I wanted to talk a little bit about the partnership between McIntosh and Jeep. And for those of you that don't know, the press release was out a while back. The McIntosh Laboratory car audio system is going to be in the 2021 Jeep Grand Cherokee L. And I don't think that vehicle is actually on the lot yet, but it might be pretty close to showing up. But Jeff, let's start by just telling us a little bit about this partnership between Jeep and McIntosh, how it came about, and the synergies between the two companies.
Thanks. Yeah, it's been really exciting. This discussion with Jeep has gone back 3 years now. It was 2017 when we really first started having conversations about, the art of the possible, about what could be done. We at at McIntosh, we were interested in getting back into car audio. It's something that we had dabbled with back 20 years ago, but we really felt it was the right time now to try to do it seriously. And for us, the first question was, what's the right brand, right? If we're going to do this, how do you partner with the right automotive brand that's going to share the same values you do and do it in a collaborative way? Um, and that's really the thing that started the conversation with Jeep. When if you think about Macintosh, we think about high performance, high quality, long reliability for products, and made in America. Right? We are a strongly rooted American 70 plus year old brand, 1949. Um, and that's just who we are, right? And we wanted to make sure we had a brand match with somebody that had those same characteristics. And if you think about Jeep, it's the most American of all American car companies, right? It just screams Americana as a brand.
Yeah.
And that was great. I mean, the ruggedness, the durability, right? The sort of legendary status that the Jeep brand has really felt like it was a perfect brand to brand match for us. And that really started the conversation. And then it was about the people. It was about, do we have people that share the same vision as what we want to do? Because if we're going to bring a Macintosh system to a car, we want it to have the same qualities as the stuff you buy for your home, right? We want to live, that brand needs to deliver the same brand values. And so it was great to work with the Jeep team because we quickly became aligned with them and they became aligned with us and saw the vision, right? And saw the what could be possible. And we agreed on what we wanted to do and go through all the heroic efforts that it requires to, let's say, design a car around an audio system, which is not an easy feat. And that sort of was, the second kind of key piece of the puzzle that said it was the right match for us.
Well, and that brings me to my next question. I've reviewed a number of Macintosh products through the years, and, to a piece, I've loved all of them. And, how do you take that sound that, your typical Macintosh customer is used to, that big dynamic Macintosh sound, and how do you put it into a car or an
Mm.
automobile? I think when people look at it, they see the name, and it's great that it's a Macintosh branded system, but how do you put that sound quality in the actual Jeep?
Yeah, it started with that vision, and it was difficult. But the way we did it was we actually put together a Macintosh home theater, or not home theater, a home two-channel stereo system with our XRT, 6 foot tall line array loudspeakers, and our two preamplifier and 600-watt monoblock amplifiers, SACD player, like a real high quality Macintosh two-channel system in a highly engineered audio room, like a real proper listening room in Detroit, actually. And we set that up. And we brought the highest level executives at the time all the way to Sergio Marchionne, who was, CEO of the company at the time, God rest his soul. Um, and Ralph Gilles, who was the head of design, was part of that as well. And we said, guys, this is what we want to do, right? I want to deliver this experience to you in a car. And when they left excited, right, about that, and then we walked them out of that room and we sat them in a demonstration vehicle that we had been working on for a long time, right? We tried to put a prototype together in a current generation vehicle and said, now listen to this. And they got out of the car and they were thrilled. And that was really the idea, was and every engineer that worked on the system had that demonstration. That room was there for them to be their anchor, to say, guys, this is what we're trying to achieve. So every design decision we did was sort of anchored with that performance expectation. And it really cascaded through the entire, activity. So when we sat down to think about where do we put the loudspeakers in the car, right? Where do the woofers go? Where do the mid ranges go? Where do the tweeters go? How are we going to electrically architect this? How many channels of amplification? How much power per channel do you need? What is the EQ capability that we need to have in this? All of this systems engineering sort of design activities were based on trying to replicate that home theater system performance. And then you take that down another level and say, well, each of those components must be then designed to the standards of a McIntosh, home audio experience. And so we got down into the details of implementing McIntosh's high performance, low distortion, or HPLD speaker technology, which is a unique shorting ring sort of technology in the motor structure to give very high efficiency, high output SPL levels with extremely low distortion. So those are in every one of the woofers, and there's 5 woofers in that car that are all phase matched in order to give the best, low frequency response you could possibly get in a car, which you can achieve 120 dB in low frequency SPL in this car. I mean, this
Wow.
is, we're talking jet engine, right? Sound quality levels,
Right.
which is, and that's what our consumers expect, right? If you want McIntosh, you want the best. You expect high power. You expect dynamics. And so, that was one thread I just, gave you, but you apply that same sort of logic to the mid ranges in order to get vocal clarity, the tweeters. We developed point source architecture, coaxial speakers, so that we could get as much time alignment between mid ranges and tweeters as we could. We have a 3-way system design for front left, front right, rear left, rear right, so everything has a true 3-way architecture in the loudspeaker construction. So, each of these points, all of them are important, but when you put them all together, it really then creates that hopefully jaw-dropping wow of, yeah, this is truly McIntosh audio quality when you sit there, because at the end of the day, we want the consumer to have the goosebumps, right? That
Right.
legendary live sign.
So what do you hear when I don't know if you've heard the final system or just the prototypes, but the systems that you have heard, maybe the latest one, when you sit down in the car, what's the sound quality like? What can we expect to hear?
Yeah, I feel extremely proud, and I feel like proud for all the engineers who worked on this, because I think they did an amazing job. And I think the sound qualities of this system, are truly representative of McIntosh. You're going to have truly uncompressed musical enjoyment throughout the whole, volume range. So whether you're listening low, medium, high, there's a very nice, even frequency response with no compression up and down the volume change. You get, 20 to 20K type performance in this car. We're talking, almost 120 dB output at 30 hertz, right? So, which is
Wow.
ridiculous, right? It's better than a lot of home theaters, home audio systems. So, you truly do get a full range reproduction of the musical spectrum. Um, you get a spatial presentation that you actually have a true sound stage that you would expect from a great, two-channel reproduction. You have left, you have center, you have right. You can place instruments in between. So, these are the things that we would expect out of a great two-channel reproduction. You will get the same experiences in the car. And the other thing we really worked hard at was we wanted to try to make this an enjoyable experience for all passengers. In cars, I think the statistics are roughly 70% of the time it's just the driver, right? So obviously you do driver optimize, but there are multiple tuning modes in the vehicle that allow you to sort of adjust the tuning to the users. But we want to make sure the passenger has a great experience and the rear seat has a great experience too. So you really
Okay.
do get a nice experience across all of the locations. Um, and then there's some, let's say, fun things too. So as the system came about, we have some rear surround speakers in the tailgate, that the lift gate that comes up, and the subwoofer's back there. And we said, you know what? You can have an outdoor party system. So you can actually
Oh,
run
wow.
the mid ranges and tweeters and the subwoofer. So you got a three-way system basically that roughly is a stereo system
What a
if
great
you're
idea,
standing
man.
standing out in the back of the car, right? So it's like, that's a small little side benefit, but it's a fun extra little value, right, to the
No, that's that's
consumer.
that's a that's a really neat feature. I love that idea.
Yeah.
So I guess the last question is when can people walk onto a Jeep lot and sit down in a Grand Cherokee and hear this system? Do you know when the first models are going to show up in the at the car dealerships?
Usually system fill takes about 3 months. So it's going to be really springtime when the dealers will start having, vehicles on lots,
Okay.
with and then they'll be available. So we're really excited, right? This is the first launch for McIntosh with Jeep. And it's the first time we've been back in the car market for many years. And we're excited to see what the reaction of the press is as you guys get your ears on it too. I'm hoping that the experiences are as wonderful as I've had. The If you do have the opportunity to listen to it, one of the fun tracks that we spent a lot of time with, Dire Straits, "Money for Nothing," just a great rock and roll
Okay.
track. I'm a classic rock guy, but the ability to go from the very low opening to the very high dynamic peak in that first 60 seconds of the track, it's an amazing experience. And if you don't get goosebumps, I don't think you're alive. So I hope our consumers enjoy it. I think they will. The other part I haven't mentioned yet, but the other part that makes a Macintosh product has been the classic look, right? When you walk into a hi-fi shop, you know a Macintosh product before you turn it on. You know it from 20 feet away, because you see the wonderful, blue meters dancing and the iconic sort of black and metal frame and glass, and that look is inside of a Jeep, right? And that was as heroic as an effort as the sound quality was. To do that, but it's part of going back to that first thing we talked about, which was finding a partner that really understood the brand and the mission and wanting to reproduce that for consumers. The center stack has a feature where you can turn on the McIntosh meters that are actually connected to the sound output of the system, which is going to give you a relative loudness measurement as you're actively driving down the highway, which I personally find extremely cool. And we have, nice logos on which I thought they've done a beautiful job integrating with backlit logos, just like we have on our products, even down to the knob on the center stack that you use to control the HMI. they used the McIntosh volume knob as the design inspiration for that.
Well, it wouldn't be McIntosh without meters, right? So, that is such a good thing to hear, because I almost feel like if you didn't get meters in the car, would it really be a McIntosh system?
Well, absolutely, and that's where we feel really confident that this has been a great partnership with Jeep, because they got our brand, they respected our brand, and they've done an amazing job implementing the brand into the vehicle together with us. So it's been a fun 3 year journey for sure.
Well, Jeff, I really appreciate it. I have this vision in my mind of maybe one of the Jeep salesmen out there with the tailgate open, just blasting the McIntosh system for fun. And I'll definitely be one of the first guys on the lot to hear this system, and maybe we can report on it when it's available. But thank you for your time today. You gave us a lot of insight. There was some details in the press release, but you gave us a lot of insight on what we can really expect. I got to say, I'm super excited to hear it now.
Excellent. Well, it's great to talk to you today, Jeff.
All right, we'll talk to you soon.